What's up guys, welcome back to JB Reviews. Now most of you guys saw the video I did earlier this week discussing the Ram 2500. This is probably one of the biggest updates we've seen so far for the HD segment. In the past you were not able to get good payload when you were looking at a Ram 2500 with the Cummins. Well, Ram fixed that. Now you guys saw that Ram is looking to do, 25 product launches in the next 18 months. Now, they didn't release this as information. They literally just did it because from April of 2025 till now is when the trucks got delivered with the higher gross vehicle weight rating. So now you have the option to get a Ram 2500 Cummins with close to 3,000 pounds of payload. That is a game changer. Now it gets worse for GM and Ford because Ford and GM have had a secret weapon in their arsenal, which we'll go over here in a second. Ram has now opened the doors for affordability. They've always had that for the Ram 1500s. You guys see this truck right here? This has been a very important truck for Ram. Why, you might ask? Simply because of what everyone is continuing to complain about. What is everyone complaining about today? Anyone want to take a wild guess? No shocker, pricing. Now here is a 2025 Ram 2500. This is most likely a bighorn just based off the wheels here. What do you guys think this truck cost? You know, it has fifth wheel prep package. It has a bighorn level 1, so it has a center console. It's a nice truck. This cost $76,100. It's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money, and Ram's about to fix that. Let's go ahead and jump into the video. Now I'm pretty sure for my OG subscribers, this looks like a totally different room, and it is because my wife decided she wanted to give us a room for recording in. And so hopefully the audio will be a little bit better in this smaller room. So with that being said, I've discussed the middle class is shrinking. And there was a time where the middle class could afford the higher trim levels, right? If you think a decade ago, right? Ram had the Laramie. Laramie used to be one of the top trims. And then in time, we got trims like the Longhorn, the Limited, and now, if you're looking at half tons, you have a tungsten half ton, which can cost nearly $100,000. So Ford and GM have what I call the new middle class trucks. GM was first to market with their custom trim level, okay? It was only available at the time with a gas engine, but then they moved it over to a diesel engine, and it's only available in a 3/4 ton truck. Ford has always had the STX, but for 2023 plus trucks, and I'm talking specifically for the Super Duties, they gave it a really nice upscale look, but once you open the door, you have basically a work truck interior. Ram has done something pretty similar to that. Let's go ahead and read this article so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. I found this article on hdrams.com, and it says Ram expands sport truck lineup with 2026 2500 Black Express and Warlock models, okay? And this article is by Jared B. Now it says here, Ram is doubling down on its commitment to sport truck culture, this time bringing the heat to the heavy duty segment. For the 2026 model year, two bold new variants, the Ram 2500 Black Express and the Ram 2500 Warlock. These new packages join the lineup, offering factory customized looks and serious value for buyers who want muscle and presence in a 3/4 ton package. The move adds new depth to Ram's performance-minded offerings and kicks off the 2026 HD model year with a clear statement. Street style and off-road attitude aren't limited to half-ton trucks anymore. And as I mentioned, GM's custom for 2025 added a black appearance for that truck. And the STX is basically a black appearance, it has black wheels, painted bumpers, LED headlights come standard on the Ford trucks. GM is still rocking halogens, but I'm pretty sure when they do a complete redesign, they'll get a new interior, and then they'll have LED headlights standard, kind of like the GMC trucks do. But GMC does not have this new middle class truck, as I call it. So let's keep reading because I want you guys to see some of the pricing on these trucks. Both the 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express and Warlock are based on the entry-level tradesman trim, giving buyers aggressive looks and added content at a competitive price point. The Black Express package starts at $24.95 and brings the total price to $53,735, while the more rugged Warlock package is priced at $29.95 with an entry point of $57,165, and that is including destination, guys. That's super cheap. Orders are open now, and the first units are expected to hit dealer lots in Q3 2025. Everyone likes a good looking truck, but the challenge is making it affordable while adding value to the entire lineup. So that's what Tim Kuniskis had to say about this truck. Or in other words, the new middle class. These trucks give you that nice rugged or sport truck look, and they come in under $60,000. So why is this a problem for GM and Ford? Well, you have to understand something. Ram is typically on par with their entry-level trims like the STX and Custom, without these packages. Now you can get these trucks under 60 grand with the gas engine, obviously, but once you add the diesel and a few other options, we all know how Ram does their discounting. They do pretty big discounts. They typically offer rebates. And so they're gonna come in significantly, well, not significantly, but they're gonna come in a lot less. And keep in mind, these trucks now have real payload capacity. So on the tradesman trim, you're just adding some larger wheels, some painted bumpers here and there. I'll show you guys some of the upgrades that they do. But you're gonna have payload for a 3/4 ton around 3,000 pounds, even with the diesel option, assuming they give these trucks the higher gross fuel weight rating, which I couldn't imagine them not doing that. So that's why this is so important, and this really does spark that conversation of, can GM and Ford compete at this price point still? Because if Ram can come in 5 to 10 grand cheaper, I don't know why you would never pick a Ram truck over the other two, because of the 8-speed transmission, of course the Cummins, and obviously again having the big payload. So the Black Express will come in crew cab, 4x2 or 4x4, so again making the price even more advantageous for those. You can get a long bed or short bed. And here's some of the upgrades that they're doing. So you get that sport performance hood. This is basically the truck right here. You got the 20-inch wheels, painted bumpers, LED headlights come standard on all tradesmen, and radar cruise control. So you have that really nice styled pickup HD that can tow significantly more than a half ton, has better stability, and now these trucks can have close to 3,000 pounds of payload with that 11,000 plus gross fuel weight rating. I think it's like 11,040 pounds now. And then here's just a readout of some of the upgrades that these trucks are gonna come with for that $24.95. Here's the Warlock right here. Again, a really nice, rugged, affordable pickup truck. It's basically a lower grade level Rebel, I would say. And again, here's some of the features that are gonna come on this truck. Again, you get the Bilstein shocks, downhill assist, anti-spin comes a part of it. Of course, you guys saw the 20-inch wheels on there. And it has that really cool, rugged look. I love the matted bumpers. And some people don't like the grill on the Rebel, so this is the next best thing if you don't like that grill option. So again, and you can get this truck under 60 grand with the gas engine. It says here, like the Black Express, the Warlock is available in a wide color palette, including forged blue and molten red. It builds on the Warlock legacy, first seen in Dodge's 1970s adult toys lineup and reintroduced in 2019 on the Ram 1500 Classic. And of course, as we know, you're gonna get the 6.4 standard, then the optional Cummins right here. I don't think they discuss the gross fuel weight rating or payload in this, but like I said, I'm pretty sure these trucks are gonna get that higher gross fuel weight rating. Which means more payload. Now I know some of you guys always call me a fanboy. Like whenever GM refreshed their trucks, everyone called me a fanboy for GM. When I was doing videos on the Ford trucks, people were calling me a fanboy for Ford. And everyone calls me a Ram fanboy, but I only point out the facts. I don't understand why you guys get so upset about literally me reading something showing you, hey, look what they're doing. When GM came out in 2024, they came out swinging. They refreshed their interiors. That was the biggest thing about their trucks. Everyone complained about their interiors. They fixed it. And then they came out with more horsepower and torque with the Duramax. They added the 10-speed stamp-approved Allison behind the gas engine. And so they really came in with a better truck. Remember, they have the largest standard beds in the segment, you know, and they just have an overall good package. And when you see how they option and add packages to their trucks, they really are the best because they come typically one or two ways for the most part. Whereas Ford and Ram, they're a little bit more, I call it stingy, because you have to really either move up in trim levels or you're just stuck sometimes with certain things that you want that you can't get, or they just add it in these expensive packages basically. So with that, when Ford came out with their high output PowerStep, I told you guys, they have the best diesel option when you look at horsepower and torque. And it's proven, like their trucks are the quickest for the most part. And so even with the Ram side of things, look at the things they've done so far this year. I think the biggest update they've done was adding more payload to the 3/4 tons. That is going to really entice buyers to go back to Ram. I've had a lot of guys tell me, I really don't want to buy a GM or Ford because I prefer the Ram Cummins, but they didn't need 1 ton, so they went to other trucks simply because of the payload issue that Ram had. Ram fixed that. They fixed it, you know, and on top of that, they're adding a 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty, which again is all marketing, but it's still a good thing for those who don't drive a lot of miles. But the other thing is they're adding these cheaper packages that give you starting prices with destination under $60,000. And even if you add the diesel option, they're coming into the marketplace. You know how Ram is. They're gonna be discounted 10, 15 grand, and you're gonna be able to get these trucks pretty close to the base price that they come out with. So at the end of the day, I think Ram has the best interior for the tradesman trim level if you compare it to a work truck model or even the custom model of a GM product. And of course with Ford's STX package, both trucks, GM and Ford, have really nice exteriors, but where they kind of lack is the interior. I think Ram has the best. You get that 12-inch display and you have a lot of available features, because that's where Ram wins typically. They win on price and they win on availability for options and features. So that's where I think Ram is coming in, and they're really trying to make an impact here. And they're going to do it. They're going to make an impact with their trucks. Wait and see what happens. I'm telling you, once you start seeing these prices discounted, it's going to be really hard to justify buying a Ford or GM product. And despite what you say about reliability, I think they're all about the same in a sense. Sometimes I think GM's a little bit better, but then you hear about the engine or engine oil coolers failing, and then the 10 speeds are not that great. With Ford, a lot of people are still afraid of the CP4 on those trucks. And then of course with Ram, they have the cam lifter issues. And I'm not sure if that's still going to be an issue moving forward, but it is something that people are concerned about. So despite reliability, I think they're all about the same in a sense. You just have to pick your poison. Everyone keeps asking me, which truck would I buy? I'm like, hey, buy the truck you're going to maintain yourself. If you're going to buy a truck, just know that you're going to have to do maintenance. Run the fuel additive, run the best oil that you can find. You know, do oil analysis. I'm going to be doing videos on that really soon. Same thing goes for, you know, how often are you getting your oil changed? And there's a lot of variables that go into longevity. And I think that the manufacturers all need to do a better job in making reliability their focus, because that is something that they've gotten away from. There was a time when reliability was actually something that we saw. You could see Cummins Ram trucks and Ford PowerStep and even the Duramax is going 200,000-300,000 miles, typically problem free. But well, maybe not Ford so much. I'm not gonna lie. Ford, I think back in 2017 on, that's where Ford really, I think, got really good, because the 6.7 Cummins, I don't hear a lot of people complaining about that issue. But before that, the 6.0, 6.4, those were just not that great of engines. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts down below. I'm excited to see the pricing on these trucks once they hit dealers, when they start optioning them out and start discounting them, because maybe I could show you guys price differences between this Warlock and Black Express compared to the STX and the custom trim levels, and then we can kind of get an idea if Ram is in fact going to be a sales leader here. Because at the end of the day, everyone is concerned about pricing. That's the biggest concern that I hear about pricing, and this is a good answer towards that from Ram.